A young talented nerd is a bot fighter. His brother challenges him to channel his energy well, and he decides to apply for school. On his induction day, an explosion happens, and he loses his brother. This entirely changes his life. How will he manage this? Hello! Today, Anytime will show you the recap of an anime titled Big Hero 6. Spoiler alert. Watch out and take care. At a bot betting center, a bot belonging to a thug named Yama fights against his opponent and loses the fight. After the fight, Yama takes his money and brags that no one can defeat his bot. But a young boy, a 14-year-old young school leaver, Hiro, asks to fight. Yama looks at him and reminds him it's not a fight for the weak, and they also tell him that he has to pay before fighting. Hiro tells them he has the money, pays, and starts his fight. With just 2 hits, Yama's robot destroys Hiro's own. He asks to go in a second round and tells him he was unprepared for the fight. He pays more money and puts in for the second fight against Yama. For this fight, he changes his bot to a severe version. He cuts off all of Yama's bot. He wins the fight, but Yama gets angry. He collects his money, but Yama drags him and takes away his bot. Yama asks his thugs to fight him, but luckily, his big brother, Tadashi, a robotic student at nerd school, drives his bike to save him. He directs his robot to hit Yama and flies to him, and he appreciates Tadashi for coming for him. Notwithstanding, Tadashi is angry at him for playing bot betting and reminding him that bot betting is illegal. But Hiro insists that the money is sweet. Just as they escape from the thugs, they meet the police. The police arrest them, and since they are orphans, their aunt, Cass, comes to bail them out. She gets angry at them for stressing her and says she had to close work early to go for them. She asks them what she has done wrong within the 10 years of training them that made them turn that miserable. They apologize to her, and Tadashi instructs Hiro to stop doing illegal things. As Hiro returns to his room, he prepares to go for another bot betting. Tadashi begs him otherwise and asks what their parents would have done in such a situation. Hiro says he doesn't know because he was just 3 when their parents died. He tells Tadashi that he can't attend a nerd school and be caught with what he knows before, and he prefers to use what he knows for money. Tadashi decides that since he wants to go, he will follow him. Tadashi drives him, and instead of driving him to the bot betting center, he takes him to the nerd school. Hiro complains, but Tadashi tells him they will only be spending seconds. As they enter the nerd laboratory, the first thing Hiro sees is a young lady driving a bicycle. He goes near the bicycle and finds out the bicycle works with electromag suspension. This is the first time he has seen such, and he's amazed. The inventor, Gogo, tells him the bicycle isn't fast enough and that she's still working on faster alternatives. He walks to another student, Wasabi, who screams that he shouldn't step on the line. The boy sends him away from the line and shows him a laser-induced plasma that works with magnetic confinement. The team member, another lady, rides a ball towards him. She raises the ball in front of him and shows him it's a tungsten carbide. She takes him to some chemicals and mixes a pint of perchloric acid, a smidge of cobalt, and a hint of hydrogen peroxide. Then heat them at 500 Kelvin. It forms a pink color, which he takes to the ball, and the ball turns pink. She later touches the ball, and it explodes. Her name is Honey Lemon. He asks his brother why his colleagues' names are weird, and he tells them it's their school mascot, Fred, that names the students funny names. Tadashi takes him into another room. When Hiro asks for Tadashi's invention, Tadashi puts a sellotape on his hand. When he screams ouch, a robotic nurse comes out. The robot, built by Tadashi, is named Baymax, and it treats Hiro's injury and doesn't leave until Hiro is satisfied with the service. It uses a lithium-ion battery. Tadashi's professor arrives. He checks Hiro's bot and comments that it's made with magnetic bearing servos. Hiro brags about his bot and attempts to explain how he arranged it. Still, Tadashi tells him the professor created the magnetic bearing servos. Hiro is jaw-dropped as he discovers the man in front of him is the legendary Robert Callahan. Callahan tells him to apply at their school as he has a prospect, but Tadashi replies that Hiro doesn't want to go to school. He only wants to bet on bots. Sarcastically, Callahan says Hiro must have had it easy betting, so Hiro doesn't come to his school as his students do not enjoy an easy life. Hiro and Tadashi leave the school, and Tadashi asks to drive Hiro to the betting center, but Hiro changes his mind. He decides to attend the nerd school, so he urges Tadashi to take him home. Tadashi informs him that the students are chosen during a science fair, and he should find something innovative to present during the fair, so he will be chosen. Hiro tries to find something. However, he can't think of anything creative. He complains to Tadashi, who carries him up, swings him around, and tells him to see things the other way, to think of something innovative. He sees his bot and thinks of something. He spends his time creating something worthwhile. On the fair day, he goes along with his brother's friends. They encourage him to be courageous, and they wish him well after taking a picture with him. He starts his presentation and puts control on his head. He brings out a chip, the microbot. He controls all the boxes his friends brought him, and the microbots control themselves to the podium. He tells them the band controls the bots on his head, and anything he thinks of, the bots will do it, be it construction, traveling, or walking. As long as you can think of it, the bots can do it. All his families are excited about his innovation. After his presentation, they take him to a side to celebrate, and the scientist, Alistair Cray, comes to meet him. Cray asks to buy his microbots for Craytech, and as he contemplates making his decision, Callahan arrives. He tells Hiro he can either sell his invention to a selfish organization like that of Cray, who has works against all laws of science, or develop it himself. Hiro decides not to sell it. He rejects the offer, and Cray gets angry. Callahan gives Hiro his admission letter. Tadashi and his friends take Hiro out. He bids his friends goodbye and goes to talk with Hiro until they hear alarm of a fire explosion at school. Tadashi hears that Callahan is still in the fire, so he runs inside but dies. They bury Tadashi, and Hiro refuses to go back to school. 2 weeks after resumption, Cass still convinces him to go. Tadashi's friends also call him to wish him well. While he stands confused, he hits his legs and screams ouch, thereby waking Baymax, who tries to help him. He falls behind a bed while trying to stop Baymax, and he finds a piece of his microbot. However, he discovers the microbot is moving and assumes it's malfunctioning since it can only move when communicating with others. The other microbots have been destroyed in the fire. However, Baymax insists the microbots are trying to go somewhere. Hiro, who thinks Baymax is joking, tells Baymax to direct the microbot, and Baymax leaves the house. He runs after the robot and finds it in front of a locked warehouse. They jump into the warehouse, where they find several drums of microbots. He realizes someone is mass-producing his invention. Suddenly, the bots stand up and start chasing them. A masked man controls the bots. They escape and go to the police station. As Hiro explains, he asks Baymax to be his witness, but Baymax has a low battery. He takes Baymax and recharges it. He assumes the man in a mask is the one who set the building on fire to kill his brother and steal his property, so he decides to get revenge. He takes Baymax for an upgrade and teaches Baymax how to fly. After being fully prepared, they return to the storage but can't find the bots. They see the bots working and the masked man. However, as Hiro is about to command an attack, Tadashi's friends arrive. They ask him what he wants to do, and during the conversation, the masked man attacks them. They drive away from this man and the bots until they crash into the water. Baymax helps them out. They need somewhere to strategize, and Fred takes them to his home. Hiro figures that if he could upgrade his friend's invention to fight, they will have the upper hand in the fight that way. Baymax can scan the masked man, and they can find his identity. Gogo accepts the mission. She says Tadashi is their best friend, and they will get revenge together. Hiro increases Gogo's wheels, changes Honey Lemon's balls, gives Wasabi hand blades, and Fred can spit fire. He upgrades Baymax to fly and also throws a strong fist. They decide to go for the masked man. They enter a laboratory where they watch a video of Cray's transportation experiment. During the first check, the pilot enters the transport pod, but the pod explodes and she dies. They assume Cray is the masked man. At that moment, the masked man attacks them. They fight against him, and Hiro removes the mask. They find out it's Dr. Callahan, who they thought died in the explosion. He tells them he had Hiro's bots, which protected him, and says Tadashi died for his foolishness. This gets Hiro angry. He asks Baymax to kill Callahan, but Baymax says he isn't programmed to kill humans. He removes Baymax's chip, so it will kill Callahan, but his friends stop it. He takes Baymax home, repairs it, and prepares to fight again. But Baymax shows him a video of when Tadashi was making it and how Tadashi wanted him to be a caregiver. Hiro feels terrible and apologizes. His friends arrive too. They show him a video that shows that Callahan's daughter is the pilot that died in Cray's transport, and Callahan is planning on revenge. Callahan, on the other hand, goes to attack Cray by activating the teleportation channel again. But the friends come to help Cray. They convince Callahan to stop, but since he refuses, they start a fight. Hiro commands the others to break the bots until Callahan has no more bots. As they attempt to run away before the teleportation explodes, Baymax senses that the pilot is alive inside the channel. He enters with Hiro but gets trapped in the channel. Hiro and the pilot return, and the pilot is taken for healthcare while Callahan gets arrested. Hiro resumes school and he finds Baymax's chip by the portal. He creates another Baymax robot, and he, Baymax, and his friends declare themselves as Big Hero 6, burdened with the responsibility of helping people as Tadashi has planned. Thanks for watching. Kindly subscribe to our channel to get notified when we post the next recap. See you next time.